YouTube, it's Ethan and it's Zane at Kite Paddle Surf, and we're back and we're here today. We're going to talk to you about the new Ozone Flow. So, as you guys know, we're big fans of the Ozone Flux. That's actually been Zane's go-to wing for about a year now. He's been riding the Flow for a month or so. What do you notice that is different about the Flow than the Flux?
Well, first and foremost, the elongated front handle.
Yeah.
What this does is pretty cool little deal. You get if you're cruising along, want to ride one-handed for a bit, choke up on here and just cruise along.
Right. So typically with the Flux, the handle would extend to about here, and the center point of gravity on the wing, if you were to just hold it one-handed, if it was like a boom, would be right here. So now it allows you to access that position. I demoed this the other day and I was surprised. It's incredibly user-friendly. Like, it doesn't even take any real skill. You just hold your hand right there and you can ride single-handed toe side or heel side. It's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I liked it. You get like a full vision kind of. You can use your other hand to wave at your buddies or whatever, which is cool.
And in the future, might be looking at sorting out some one-handed tacks. There's lots of opportunity there that could be unlocked.
That's true. So moving on, that's the big new thing with this wing. When we look at the materials, I think that the Dacron might be a little more of a heavyweight Dacron than we saw on the Flux, would be my guess.
They made it a little more durable, so they're kind of aiming this more for the wave riding aspect there.
Right. And if I recall, it has a smaller wingspan than the Flux too. So the Flux is a really high aspect wing, and they brought this one in a bit on the wingspan, and that's also oriented towards use in waves when you're turning back and forth, depowered, that there's just less wing to bounce around, hit the water and whatnot.
Talking about wave riding, another nice feature, they did make the luff handle here a little bit more stiff, a little more direct. So as you're riding back and forth, jibing on the wave, you can kind of direct this wing out of the way and just keep riding.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty big change. The Flux, it was pretty soft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know with like the Armstrong wings that I like, they have a really rigid front handle, which is awesome when you're depowered, to be able to control the wing in its turns too, not just have it fully left out, which is nice. Of course, you've got your knuckle protector here.
Oh yeah,
very important.
Busting up the knuckles now.
That's right. One thing I'm kind of surprised to not see a change in is the location of the windows. I gotta say, I felt that the Flux windows aren't really helpful at all. They're so small. They're kind of a little too far up. I don't really care for windows. I'd almost prefer there to be no windows on our wings. We don't really have any crowds here in town, so that is a big factor.
Also, it's not hard to lift the wing up,
take
a view of the surrounding riders, and keep riding.
Yeah, but they're small. Doesn't really matter.
Yep.
I don't know if there's really a ton else. You've got your battens in the back, which is super, super cool. And
some different colorways as well. So
true.
Fluxes only come in white. We have orange, ruby, and red.
Yeah. And what is something that you've noticed about having just purely white wings? Is there any downside?
Well, here in
mud country.
Up in mud country here. Our wings get a little dirtier sometimes, so having some color.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
And for high visibility, that's a safety component of the sport, especially if you're off riding alone. To be able to be seen easier by boaters and your buds is good. Both of us are big fans of waist leashes in general. We actually really encourage everyone to get a waist leash, especially here in Bellingham. We have a lot of spots where you have to paddle out to a wind line, and doing so with the wing on your wrist is pretty frustrating.
Yep.
So Ozone, they come with a really high quality waist belt with a nice leash line too. I think if you were to buy that alone, it's like $80, so that's totally something to consider. That comes in that price with this wing.
Oh, one other thing, the leash line or harness line. I haven't tried it yet, just because I've been going harness line less.
Yeah, you don't use the harness.
No.
Big guy.
Big guy, big strong guy.
Yeah.
But given that longer front handle, I would foresee it being a bit not centered whenever you try to hook into your nug or other.
Yeah, right. That does kind of pose a complication. And the reason, like what Zane was saying, this is going to be that center of gravity on the wing. So there's probably a way to do it, but you'd need to loop the harness between these handles so that the center is also there, which does look a little tricky, but I'm sure you could work it out.
Yep.
You have any other feedback difference from the Flux? Pretty similar overall in its performance.
Yeah, pretty similar. A little bit more low end on it, I would also say.
Okay. So
due to that lower aspect that we were talking about earlier there.
Yeah. So I think the long handle, super cool. That's a plus. If that's something that's interesting to you, I think you could go with the Flow for that reason. But I think generally speaking, if you're someone, I think like myself, my favorite part about the sport by a mile is when you're depowered and getting little turns on wind waves or ocean swell. I think that the Flow being more durable and more compact is gonna perform better in waves. That's what it was designed for. So I think if that's your ambition, the Flow is definitely worth considering. If you're someone who likes racing or speed and like more performance-y tacks and kind of tricks like that is your thing, I think the Flux is going to outperform the Flow.
Yep.
On those.
So Ozone has you covered with the Flux, and then they also have the Fusion for those that are looking to go really fast out there.
True. Like Zane.
Super fast.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like always, you can give us a call at the shop. You can actually talk to me or talk to Zane. We're real people.
Yep.
And if you have any questions, leave them down below. Give us a like. Give us a like. Just a little like.
And a little subscribe there, too.
Yeah, why not? All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.